Authors Press.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole Richardson, and I'm from Authors Press. Today is October 6th, 2022. Welcome to another fantastic virtual interview where I'm gathered here today with Mark A. Vogel, the author of Professor Poodle and Auggie, Let's Collect the Alphabet. Could you tell us a little bit about your book, please?
Yes. Hi, Nicole. Thank you for that introduction. The book itself is about two dogs that go through a series of adventures to find all the letters of the alphabet. They encounter various characters that depict each letter to help the young reader recognize the letters, and each page is written in a rhyming fashion to make the book entertaining and to make learning the alphabet more enjoyable for the children and also the adult readers as well.
Oh, that's great. Could you also tell us a little bit about yourself as well?
Yes, I retired from the Coast Guard. I spent 30 years in the Coast Guard, and I'm married to my wife, Grace. We have 3 sons, all of whom are also serving in the military presently, Christopher, Matthew, and Adam. And we have 3 grandchildren, 2 beautiful little girls, Skylar and Riley, and a handsome little grandson, 8 years old, and his name is Owen.
How sweet.
Yeah.
What inspired the idea for this book?
Well, I think mostly it was because of our dog named Toby. He was a very smart dog, and actually my son Adam taught him how to push the lever on the freezer to get ice cubes out whenever he wanted to, which was fun to watch until you heard him doing it at 2 in the morning. Then it got a little old after that. So yeah, I would say I was inspired by my dog Toby, and I thought it would be a great gift to present to my grandchildren. So they inspired me also. So that's when I started writing children's books. I was originally studying in my degree for military history, and I was writing a history about the Coast Guard. Mm-hmm. And my adventures while I was in the Coast Guard. But then when the grandchildren started coming along, I kind of took a turn there and started writing children's books for them. So that's really how I got started with that.
Oh, wow. That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Is Professor and Poodle and Auggie, is that your first children's book?
No, actually, it's my third.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. So I had 2 previous ones under different publishers, both of which are out of publication right now. But Professor Poodle seems to be my most popular. So we're going to stick with that one for a while and see where we can go with it.
Okay. And what exactly is the significance of the title, Professor Poodle and Auggie, Let's Collect the Alphabet?
Well, the title is significant because it describes to the reader what lies within the pages that they are about to read. Each letter has its own adventures and challenges in finding all 26 characters of the alphabet. The book illustrates the title characters having fun, getting frustrated, solving problems, etc. It pretty much portrays to the child what we as adults go through in real life whenever we try to achieve something worthwhile. So it takes the children on an adventure, and hence the title, The Adventures of Professor Poodle and Auggie, Let's Collect the Alphabet.
Okay, and that kind of leads me into my next question. How do you want your book to impact those readers?
Well, my main goal is to teach children the letters of the alphabet. Now, the book itself has been through various book fairs, not only here in the United States, but in other parts of the world as well. And I had a great deal of feedback from the foreign readers and how useful the book is to teach their children the letters of the alphabet in trying to learn to speak English. So that was worthwhile, and I was glad to hear that. And here, of course, in the United States, also children learning how to recognize the letters of the alphabet, and forming words and so on. So yeah, I fully expect to teach children, which is the basis of the book itself.
Okay. Yeah, and that kind of answers my question, my next question a little bit. Do you have an ideal reader or a target audience? I know that this is a children's book, but is it only a children's book?
No, I don't think so. I've had so much feedback from adults, too, who enjoyed reading this book. They got just as much fun out of reading it as did their children. So I was glad to hear that. I tried to make it enjoyable for both adults and children. The book itself is written in a rhyming fashion. So it makes it a little more enjoyable to read, and each letter is pronounced so that they can recognize the letter and associate it with a particular character in the book or situation. So, it's the adults and the children both get a great deal of satisfaction out of the book.
Oh, that's cool. It definitely sounds like your target audience is anyone who's interested in learning the alphabet and needs it at that very basic level.
That's right. Yes. Very elementary, and and it's a fun read.
That's cool. A lot of people, when they write a children's book, they're gearing it towards specifically and only children.
Right. No, I didn't want to do that because I think the parents or the adults reading the story to the children should get as much satisfaction and fun out of it as they can too, and that goes off, and rubs off on their children too. When the adult is having fun, it's most likely that the child will have fun as well.
Yeah, definitely. Kids will always take the parents' example.
Oh, sure. Yep. Absolutely.
Or the guardian's example.
Yeah, right.
What was the hardest part of developing this story? And on the other hand, what was the easiest part of developing this story?
Well, I think the hardest part was actually trying to find the rhymes that would pull the story together. For example, when Auggie had to help Professor Poodle in one situation, and he asked the K for help. The K was in the tree, but instead of a K, there came down a blue jay, because Auggie had barked up the wrong tree that day. So you see things like that. So, making the rhymes to bring the story together, that was probably the hardest part. But it was also fun, so it wasn't that difficult, as far as time consuming. The easiest part was writing the story itself based on the characters, because I used, like I said, my own dog as an inspiration for the book. And what would a professor dog do in this case? And what would his sidekick have him do, or what questions would he ask, and so on. So, yeah, that was actually, I got a very worthwhile enjoyment out of writing that book.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Has this book significantly changed since you first had the idea for it?
Not for the book itself, but for the result of it being published. It is now in the process. We're having a screenplay done, written for it. So we're hoping to make a children's cartoon with it. And I would like to see Professor Poodle and Auggie on children's backpacks and lunch boxes and so on. And so that's really what our goal is to get Professor Poodle and Auggie out there, so that we can inspire more children to learn the alphabet and to have fun reading. And the cartoon should be enjoyable to watch and wholesome for the family.
Oh, that sounds exciting. I can't wait to see the end results of that.
Yes, me too. I'm very excited about that.
I've only got a few more questions for you.
Okay.
How did writing this book make you feel? Like, what kind of emotions did it evoke?
Well, because I wrote it for my grandchildren, I was enthusiastic about writing it. And so day after day, I would come in and write a little bit more on it each day and would try to incorporate different things that I thought that they would like to read about, different adventures and so on. So yeah, it made me feel in sometimes enjoyable, and other times when my main characters got frustrated, I could sense that frustration as I was writing it for them. So yeah, it evoked a few emotions as I was writing. But all in all, it was probably one of the most enjoyable projects I've done.
Wow, that's great. You sound like you're super proud of the end result.
Oh, I am. I really am. Yeah, Professor Poodle and Auggie, it has done far more than I thought it would. It exceeded all my expectations so far, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if this screenplay will produce the results that we're looking for. The book itself, throughout the years, has been nominated for several awards, and as I mentioned before, it's been through quite a few book fairs, so we're trying to get it out there and advertise it and give as much recognition as we can.
That's really cool. Now, I'm more curious for my own personal curiosity. Is Professor Poodle and Auggie a series, or is it a standalone?
Well, I started out thinking that it might be a series, and I haven't really rejected that idea yet, but as it is right now, it's a standalone. I'm in the process of writing another manuscript that will continue the Professor Poodle and Auggie series. I'm hoping to get that into the publisher here within the next year or so. But if this becomes a cartoon in reality, then it will in fact be a series, and I would like to take part in writing for that. So yeah, we're pretty ambitious about the expectations for this book. So looking forward to seeing whatever happens.
Yeah, it's definitely coming out really well so far.
Yeah, good. Yep.
Is there anything else you'd like to talk about or mention before we wrap this up?
Well, I would just like to say that my main goal, of course, is about the children. Teaching them to read, teaching them the letters, teaching them how, through Professor Poodle and Auggie, how to solve problems, and to walk away with a personal achievement in no matter what they endeavor to do. So collecting all 26 characters of the alphabet may be a start in teaching a child, what he might encounter when he's trying to accomplish something worthwhile.
Yeah, your story has a really good message. Like, I can definitely see it being read to elementary schoolers.
Right, exactly.
In class.
Exactly. Yep, absolutely. I've done many book readings with Professor Poodle and Auggie in elementary grades. And it's got very good feedback from that, and they all seem to enjoy it.
Wow, that's really cool. I'm glad that the kids really like your story, because they should.
Yeah. And like I said, it's a very fun book to read. Yeah, and the rhyming aspect of it makes it even more enjoyable.
Have you ever worked with Authors Press before?
No, actually, publishing Professor Poodle and Auggie is my first book with them. And I'm very pleased with the job they've done thus far. And I expect to continue on that path, whether it's with Professor Poodle or if it's with other books along the way. I think Authors Press is an outstanding publishing company, and the assistance I have gotten from their staff is just tremendous, and no complaints with that whatsoever.
thank you so much. If you ever have any suggestions for how we could better our services, we are always looking to hear them, so that way we could provide the most amazing services available.
Right, absolutely, yes, and I would certainly be able to do that, yes.
That's all the questions that I have for you today. Thank you so much for meeting with me.
Well, thank you, Nicole. I appreciate that, and I hope you have a good rest of the day.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. If you ever have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to Office Press either via email or phone number, and we'll get back to you, and we'll be more than happy to help.
Very good. Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. This has been Mark A. Vogel and Nicole Richardson. Thank you so much for tuning in.